The American Business Forum was right here in Miami at the Kaseya Center. The highlight, of course, was seeing Trump and him arrive in the beast. Also got to see Jeff Bezos speak. Let's talk about real estate because this is what so many people are asking. Mortgage rates are still kind of high. The U.S. housing market remains deeply stagnant with homeowner turnover at its lowest level in 30 years. First-time homebuyers made up only 21% of home purchases this year, the lowest on record. Let's touch upon something that affects everyone: politics. The Miami race for mayor is now headed for a runoff election. Hello everyone, welcome to the first episode. I'm Bobby Mahalati, your South Florida business entrepreneur, business owner. I like to say power broker. And in this show, we're going to dive into three things that matter to you: real estate, what's happening right now, right here in Miami, and the politics and economy that influence it all. Whether you're a homeowner, an agent, investor, or just curious about what's going on, you're at the right place. So today, we're kicking off with some big topics, the latest in real estate market, what's buzzing in the Miami area this week, and a few political headlines you'll want to know about. So grab your cafe con leche, sit back, and let's get into this. All right, let's talk about real estate because this is what so many people are asking. Are things cooling down? Are they heating up? A lot of people are confused. We're seeing something interesting. The U.S. housing market remains deeply stagnant with homeowner turnover at its lowest level in 30 years. In fact, roughly 28 out of every 1,000 homes changed hands in the first 9 months of the year at a very slow pace. So what's driving it? For one, mortgage rates are still kind of high, and many current homeowners secured historically low rates a couple of years ago, so they're reluctant to move. I mean, of course, if you had a 2% interest rate, you'd be reluctant too. Meanwhile, buyers are still holding back because of the affordability. My take, in South Florida especially, that means that we're not seeing the frenzy of 20 and 21. It means more opportunity, but you've got to be smart. At the same time, inventory is rising, more listings are coming to market, which means that the supply and demand balance is shifting. What does that mean for buyers? Well, buyers have more leverage, of course. And what does that mean for sellers? Well, if you're a seller, you've got to be more strategic. For example, when buyers know you're giving up some concessions or an advantage, then buyers might not push so hard for a lower price and better terms. And sometimes sellers advertise that advantage, whether on the MLS or online. If you're a seller and you're still expecting the seller's market dynamics of 2 years ago, you might get surprised. Another headline: the median age of the first-time home buyer in the U.S. has reached 40 years old. Yes, that reminds me of the movie, The 40-Year-Old Virgin. So in this case, I think it would be the 40-year-old first-time home buyer. Well, that's up 2 years from 38 years old last year and 33 years old back in 2020. First-time homebuyers made up only 21% of home purchases this year, the lowest on record. That signals the affordability is pushing people to wait or rent longer. For agents and investors and homeowners, that's a big shift. Here in South Florida, and especially Miami, the dynamic is a little bit different. Yes, people are still being cautious, but because we have strong coastal demand, lifestyle appeal, and an influx of people coming into the city, there are pockets of resilience. What I like to tell my customers and my clients: if you're thinking of buying or investing here, now is not the time for chasing sky-high appreciation. It's about positioning for stability and upside when the market turns. So what's my verdict? I think the market is not crashing, of course, but it's correcting. If you're smart, this is your window. For buyers, you've got more power, meaning the market is shifting in your advantage. And for sellers, well, it might be safer to sell now than wait for an unknown future. And for agents and investors, you need to adapt your strategy to this new environment. Okay, that was a little bit heavy, but let's lighten it up a little bit. We all know that Miami never sleeps, and there's always something happening here. Like across Brickell, downtown Wynwood, you've seen the cranes, new residential towers, new developments, commercial space. The city is still building. That construction means more supply, more competition, yes, but it also means more talent, more companies that are arriving. And if you're looking at Miami real estate, think about location, not just today, but how it's going to look 2 to 5 years from now when these projects mature and when the skyline changes. One of the projects that's going to make the skyline change is 11 hotel and residences and 11 residences and beyond, Tower 1 and Tower 2. They are both about halfway built, and Tower 1, the hotel and residences, is 100% sold out, and Tower 2 is 99% sold out. So if you want to buy a unit there, good luck. Both buildings are 65 stories high, pretty much as high as Miami will allow, and they offer no parking. But they will offer the Vegas-inspired lifestyle experience with a 10,000 square foot sports betting lounge. You also get the exclusive entry to the 11 nightclub across the street. And get this, 11 nightclub will be featured in the upcoming GTA 6. It's not all smooth sailing though. Rising costs, rent increases, insurance and flood concerns, these are real issues for locals. That balance between Miami as a luxury destination and Miami as hometown is important. I always say Miami's like that friend who's a little crazy, but you love them anyway. It's unpredictable, and that's part of the magic. So if you're buying, selling, or investing here, check the event calendars, check the construction maps, check the upcoming neighborhood shifts, because your asset isn't just a building. It's part of the city's vibe, momentum, and future. Okay, let's touch upon something that affects everyone: politics and the policy side of everything. Even if you're not into politics, these decisions influence your wallet and your property. Just this week, the United States Senate passed a short-term government funding bill sent to the House. And these things are important because when the federal government is in limbo, programs like flood insurance or anything related to HUD can get delayed. And when those things move, the real estate market notices. Also, if you're one of the many of us like me that travel back and forth to the Northeast, then you are affected by the limited flights. As you may know, air traffic controllers are also federal employees. On another note, the Miami race for mayor is now headed for a runoff election. Sad to see Francis Suarez go, but he has been mayor for 2 terms. I wish he could run for a 3rd. Now it's Emilio Gonzalez and Eileen Higgins that will face off in a December 9th runoff. If you care about your city though, vote for Emilio. Just wanted to throw that out there. Speaking of Francis Suarez, the American Business Forum was here last week, right here in Miami at the Kaseya Center. It was really good. I mean, it was packed with top-tier speakers, billionaires. I was there, and I enjoyed every minute of it. I even brought my 12-year-old son. The highlight, of course, was seeing Trump and him arrive in the Beast, his bulletproof presidential limousine. Serena Williams was there, Jamie Dimon was there. They were all speaking about their stories of success and also their stories of failure, because you can't succeed without failing a couple of times, or a lot of times. Also got to see Jeff Bezos speak. He was actually being interviewed by Francis Suarez. It was a really exceptional experience, and this year it was being held in Miami, so I had to go. Also here in Florida, in Miami-Dade, one of the big storylines is how leadership is handled: growth, zoning, short-term rentals, climate, flood mitigation. These policy decisions determine whether your investment is safe or facing a surprise expense. The law doesn't care if you bought your property as a luxury or as an investment. The numbers matter. If you zoom out, high interest rates, inflation, supply chain issues, and job market uncertainty, those all tie back into the real estate market. Because at the end of the day, property value equals demand plus cost plus confidence. If one of those things wobble, things shift fast. So for you, whether you're a homeowner or an investor, don't ignore politics. It's not about partisan views, it's about policy. money, and timing. Your real estate strategy should include awareness of the macro environment. So to wrap things up, if you found this helpful, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and more importantly, share this with someone who is obsessed with business and Miami real estate like me. I want to build a community here of smart buyers, sellers, investors, and yes, fellow agents and brokers who want to win. Thanks for watching.